Hi, Mark here again. I'm going to introduce you to a really cool new feature that we have in our universal visual editor called the Content Style Editor. And the Content Style Editor lets design teams and developers give a little more autonomy to content authors to control the styling and look and feel of content that they have on the page. The way you get to the style editor is a little style tool here. You click on that. It opens up a nice menu here on the left-hand side. It has all the controls for the piece of content that you're working on. And the types of things that you can adjust are like typography settings, like the font size and the font weight. You can change the layout, so you can move a picture around from right to left, or you can move the text around on the component. And you can change background colors for, say, an image or the background of an entire panel. And then you can change visual treatments like drop shadows or borders, or like make a rounded, a rounded corner on a button. And then you can even control responsive behavior. So to get started, the developer, design and brand and content teams get together to decide what content they want to enable for style editing, and then establish the brand guidelines for each type of content. Then the development team sets up the configuration. So on the front end code, they create a style editor schema. And in that, they establish what content types they want to do styling for, and then establish all of the different controls. And we have lots of documentation for developers on the style editor, a quick start guide, and then just examples and best practices in here. We lay out all the different controls that you can use, like the input control or the drop down and checkbox and radio buttons. So all that's in our documentation. And then once the front end code's been updated and the style editor is configured, then content teams come into the UVE, just like I was showing before. And, you click on the control, it brings up the menu, and then they can start changing things, and they can easily kind of control different things like the fonts and, move things around. So you can see that like this is all pretty easy for a front end developer. You don't need or a front end content team, because you don't need knowledge of CSS. You don't need to know how to code. It's just all super easy to do. And then what else is nice is when you're styling different components, you can have the same component or the same content used on different sites or on different pages, or even within the same page, and you can style that component differently. So that really increases the reuse of content throughout your sites. Let's run through a quick example of adding a style property to a content type. So let's say that we want to allow content authors to add spacing to the title and the banner. And there's several ways to go about this, and several controls we could give them. But for our example here, we're just going to give them a simple input control where they can put in the amount of pixels they want in between each of the letters in the title here. And we'll make it dark first so we can see it easier. And the first thing that happens is the front end development team goes over to the front end code, and they're going to add the control. So we're going to just look for our banner controls, and we already have a control for the title size and one for the caption size, and then we have one here for the title style. So I'm going to add in another one here for an input field, and it's going to be called title spacing. And I'll save that. And then once we've updated the schema with the new control, we're going to go over to the banner, and we're going to add next to style properties. Just going to make this available for the banner. And of course, if you're using the SDK, everything's going to come up automatically. So we'll accept that one. And then we're going to go down and make it available in the title. And this is here, and add that there. So it's just going to add all of that control to the banner itself, and we'll save it. And then once I'm in the front end, all I have to do is refresh. And now when a content author comes in here to control the banner, they have a nice new control here called title spacing. And then they can add in an amount of pixels they want in between each of the letters in the title, and off you go. So nice, easy way to do that. So super easy to add a control. And then obviously super easy to use these controls. and, move things around, change the layouts like we were talking about, and even like button colors and button styles and whatnot. So as you can see, this will save on developer time. So you don't need to go to the developers to, make all these little CSS changes. For content authors, you don't need to know coding. You don't need to know CSS to be able to make all these style changes. And then it increases the reusability of content throughout your site. So Content Style Editor is available this week to Evergreen customers, and right now only available to headless applications using our SDK. We're already working on making it available to natively rendered applications, and we'll have an update very soon. So thanks very much. Have a great day.